I'm Panda Hershey, and over the last 7 years, I've used astrology to help hundreds of people navigate relationships and difficult situations so they can relax and enjoy their lives. Welcome to the January 17th Coffee and Charts call, where we talk about how paying attention to our actions and conversations over the next few weeks will help us put 2023 to bed and also let us know what big changes are in store for 2024. Life is going to be very fast paced and intense for the first half of the year, especially until early May. So we all need to hang in there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side. And we don't meet for 3 weeks. Oh, so everyone, welcome to Coffee and Charts. I'm thinking about changing the name actually. We'll see, but it's our second one for the year, and the year is really starting off with a crush, I'm gonna say, in terms of all the things that are on our plates these days. And it's going to get very, very busy, busier than it is even right now today. In my own life, I get through a day and I think, oh my gosh, tomorrow is no different. And uh, um, and it's still going to speed up even a bit more. So the work that we did as part of the Mercury portal, which still has a few days left to it, are it's so important that we kind of figured out what is the framework that we're relying on, and what was the hole that we filled, so that there's something that steadies us and supports us, and we know that this is what we're building on, as basic as it might be, that we kind of can rely on that to take us through, I'm going to say, the first half of the year. So things will shift and change during the summer, but for the first half of the year, while everything is so busy, just knowing some basics of, okay, this stuff is arranged, we'll start building onto it over the next few months, but I kind of know what I'm doing now. Wherever in your life that's calling to you, you still have a few more days to get that clarity. And then, as we'll talk about, there is going to be some validation and invitations and opportunities to, I've said, put meat on the bones, but it's like to add stuff to it, that it's ready to receive. So with that in mind, let's take a look at where we are at. And here we are on the 17th of January. We don't meet again for 3 weeks. So it is, we are going to cover a little bit, and whew, reach out to me if you have questions, but there's a lot that's going on. The Mercury portal is almost done. And here is Mercury here at 4 degrees of Capricorn, and the portal finishes at 8.5 on January 20th. So we still have a few days to get that clarity. And notice here is Venus. Yesterday, it entered that Mercury portal that began at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. And so even yesterday, and frankly, even the days before, I have started to get the opportunities and invitations that I've been looking for in my life for my framework. But you will start to see that come in through the end of the month. And we're also in this active transition phase between 2023 and 2024, where we realize we're doing things, it's about to start, of wrapping up issues, topics, things that took our attention in 2023, and seeing, okay, this actually is going to take a few more months, maybe not quite the whole year, but more time to wrap up this part of what I thought I could wrap up in 2023, and it will extend into 2024. And then there may be some new things that we all deal with. There will be some new things we all deal with in 2024. But we're in, for the next 4 weeks, this period where we will get a taste of what all this will be. And so this is a really good time to be paying attention to what we're doing, and what seems like major shifts in our lives. And I'll explain all that. So the one thing that is still to come in terms of our busyness is that Uranus still, you can see a little R down there, is in retrograde. So it's still moving backwards. It hasn't even started moving forwards yet again. So that means once that starts going forward again in these 3 weeks that we're apart from each other, that's when the final bit of speeding up starts to happen. And so that's why I say kind of brace yourself, get ready, get that framework in place, and you'll be ready for the shifts that are coming. So this is why I love Mercury retrogrades, because it helps slow things down, right? I like the pace. I can get very whipped up. I know many people who do. And the Mercury retrogrades and the whole portals are times to just slow things down and have a chance to wrap our minds around things. And we're going to have to wait until March for that to happen again. Okay, so let's take a look at what's in store over the next 3 weeks. Tomorrow, the Sun moves into last year's Pluto portal at 28 degrees of Capricorn. This may be the time where you say, okay, I am actually doing things that relate to wrapping up the work of 2023. And it's a period of transition days, because then the next day we're in this kind of both periods of 2023 and 2024. And on the next day, the Sun actually crosses over Pluto at 29 degrees, 59 minutes of Capricorn before it moves into Aquarius and leaves the 2023 portal. So kind of wrapping up 2023 and giving you some indication of the things that you're doing for 2024 that call into mind, oh, these structures, these ways that I've been doing things for a very long time don't work anymore. We're going to do something different. That same day, the Mercury portal completes. So it's a good thing we've got our framework in place. We kind of know what that is. And Pluto goes into Aquarius. So when Pluto moves from Capricorn into Aquarius, it says it's calling us to apply all of our tools and wisdom, all of our efforts, doing everything we can to recognize what doesn't work anymore and what needs to change. Because that is what this Aquarius style is all about, is pointing out what's wrong with the status quo. And we may be the force behind the change, and we can also be swept along by the changes around us. And so with both of these things happening, with the Sun going into Aquarius and Pluto going into Aquarius, this could be, I always like to be optimistic. These could be the things where people say, enough is enough. We got to all get together and figure this thing out for everyone's good. That's ideally how this energy works. And then on the 22nd, the Sun leaves the 2024 portal. So there are a couple days there where you're doing things that will indicate where you'll be giving your attention almost the whole year of taking things to the next level. And then on the 26th, this is the day that Uranus moves forward at 19 degrees of Taurus. So if you look back to the period from May of last year till September, so through the summer, where somehow the way you showed up, your skills, your resources, something about you, what was attached to you, what's part of you, really changed or restructured. And it may be related to all that growth that you had. This is where you kind of extend that restructuring. And remember that Jupiter is moving forward again. So we are still building on that growth that we had. And this is going to be forcing more change in how we show up. And I almost see this as a good thing because when Jupiter is moving, it's causing us to become bigger, to expand. And that the force of that growth will force us to restructure because we just can't be contained anymore. The next day, Mercury has been finished up the portal, remember, and Mars had already finished on the 15th, and is speeding up and it crosses over Mars at 17.5 degrees of Capricorn. I like to think this may be where a place you've been pushing very hard on some things to come together. Perhaps it's a conversation, perhaps it's an idea you have. Perhaps you just see something that comes across your awareness that's like the aha. Now I know what to do to bust through this. Here's the solution to whatever I've been like putting my heart into or feeling some resistance about. So looking forward to this day. On the 29th, Venus leaves that Mercury portal. So remember, all this time, Mercury has been giving us some validation that we've got our framework in place by being able to have invitations and opportunities to do things with it. Then on February 1st, this is when the Pluto portal completes. And energetically, it's the end of the year, the end of 2023. There will still be a few little ripple effects that come through as the rest of Mercury, Mars, and Venus move through those Pluto portals. But for the most part, it will feel like, okay, that was 2023. I'm fully involved in 2024. And on the 3rd, Mercury moves into that Pluto portal from last year. And I think it may feel a little bit like reflecting on all that was done and recognizing those things that are left to take care of and are getting pushed into 2024. Because as it keeps going, it will move into the 2024 Pluto portal, cross over Pluto and leave the 2023 portal, and then leave the 2024 portal. So it's 4 days where you're like having discussions or talking about, well, we got all this done, or I got all this done. This is what's still ahead for me. And here's what's changing. And remember, the sun has already passed through here. So you've been doing things that relate to all that. And now it's like reflecting on all those things that I was doing, or perhaps having conversations about them. And then February 7th, the day that we get back in touch with each other, is the day that the Saturn portal for 2023 completes at 7 degrees of Pisces. And during, for the year, almost 11 months actually, this was a time where we brought people around us. We intentionally chose who we wanted around us that shared a vision of what we were trying to do. And with the portal complete, you may say, this person was in my life for a period of time to help me shape my vision. But when it comes to the execution of it, they're not quite the right people I need around me. And they may go off and do their thing. And that's totally fine. But this is the time to recognize who was with you, helping to shape that vision. And you'll start to take your time figuring out if they're still with you on the journey of making it, putting it into place for your dream team. So we're going to go back. There is a lot going on, but if you look at the screen and see all that movement right around Pluto, you'll start to see how everything is very focused in one area of the sky. And that is what brings the intensity into our lives, is all these planets clumped together in one spot. It's like a crowd gathering. Everyone kind of crowds around to find out what's happening, right? You drive by an accident on the other side of the freeway and everybody slows down to see what's happening. So it's kind of the same thing. Okay, here we go. Again, looking to see what happens here is kind of where a lot of the focus is. We've got the sun about to move over Pluto, and all these other planets are going to tick through. All right. So there we are. And we'll see each other in 3 weeks. And I just realized I didn't do one thing. So I didn't, okay, hang on. We're going to skip way ahead. I didn't copy the text over to all these slides. So we're going to go see that first. And I apologize to everyone. So this is for the next 3 weeks. The actual transition from 2023 to 2024 begins tomorrow, and continues really for a month. So this is the time to pay attention of releasing what is done and putting that to bed and saying, this stuff is rolling over into 2024. And there are a few more things being added on to my plate that are shifts I'm going to have to make. What are those? And our actions and our discussions will all point to all of that. And this is about shedding structures that just don't work anymore for our lives, for wherever we're going, and we're taking our lives to the next level. And so right now, with the Mercury portal in place, nearly in place and done, we know what the framework is that will hold us steady and that we can build on for the first half of the year. And there are a lot of changes coming. So it's really good to have something to rely on. And remember, this structure involves other people. So being able to bring them along as well is going to be helpful for them. So now that you've got the words here, we're going to go back and read through all of these, but the incorrect text will be there. All right. So on, I just realized, oh dear. On the 20th, the Mercury portal completes. So how are you clear on that framework that you need to Let's see. There we go. You need to rely on, and that will ground you for the first half of the year. Tomorrow is the day the sun starts moving through this Pluto portal up here for 5 days, 18th to the 22nd, giving us this sense of, I'm just realizing that text doesn't match. Oh my gosh, I think I was doing this too late at night. What are we doing that shows the transition from 2023 to 2024? And on January 20th, the day that the portal completes is the day that it will be exact. On the 20th, big day, Pluto moves into Aquarius. So how are you applying your tools and wisdom? Really, it's from that point on through the end of the year that we are basically doing everything we can to take our lives to the next level, or dealing with whatever comes to us that is pulling us into the next level. There will be a couple months in the fall where we get to go back into Capricorn and kind of use the old structures to launch us again. But by the end of this year, it will be complete. On the 26th, Uranus starts moving forward. And so we'll be extending the restructuring that we did last year. So it's kind of a repeat of that, taking it deeper, wider, using the growth that we're going through right now and the way we show up and use our tools and resources in an applied way to change who we are. On the 27th, Mercury crosses over Mars at 17.5 degrees of Capricorn. So are there any ideas or discussions or anything that comes across your field that helps you move through either some resistance or gives some gas to something you've been very passionate about to make happen and kind of pull things together? And just see, it's kind of aligning the heart and the mind that day. And I'm very hopeful for it. In the meantime, Venus has been moving through that Mercury portal. It finishes up on the 29th. So how are we getting invitations or opportunities to use this portal and have it validate that we've got this framework in place that is supporting us? And I always think of Venus as building confidence and assuring you that you're on track. Then February 1st, the 2023 portal is done. Energetically, the year is over. And so noticing what feels complete, but also noticing what is still unresolved and is drifting over into 2024. From the 3rd to the 6th, Mercury then takes its turn through the Pluto portal. So it may be a time to reflect on what you were doing from the 18th of January to the 22nd, where the sun was going through. And then a conversation happens or some realization of what you were doing and its impact will happen and tell you, okay, this is the kind of thing I'm noticing and what I will be working on. It's like the pieces start to come together. And then finally, on February 7th, that Saturn portal completes. So recognizing who was around you to help set your vision and get you going. This was the group of people that was in the same boat with you from last spring until now. And if they continue, great, but they don't need to. And that will get to be your choice later on in a couple months. So from January 20th until September 1st, be ready for major changes in and around you while Pluto is in Aquarius. It literally moves back into Capricorn on September 1st. And then we will get these 2.5 months to readjust our path into the new world using the old methods. So basically, because every planet is moving forward, there is a Mercury retrograde that happens in there that will slow down a little bit, but everything else is moving very fast. It will be a very, very busy time. And this causes a lot of stress for you. And of course, for the people around you, the people you interact with every day, the people you drive alongside on the road. And so discernment is so key to maintaining stress levels. So recognizing who really gets the benefit of your energy. If there is something that drains you that you can't be present for, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, I'm sorry, I just don't have the capacity right now to do this. Or you can just cut the cord completely. Nothing wrong with that, because we are taking our lives to that next level. And curiosity and releasing expectations about what might be the outcome, looking at everything as an experiment and asking, well, what if I try this and see what happens? And then allowing the outcome to be whatever it is to guide you in the path forward. So that is a lot. And I'm going to come back to just me and ask if you have any questions, whether this resonates with what you are going through in your life. I will tell you, I didn't think I could be any busier than I was last year. And here we are.
It's it's overwhelming. There's a lot. It's really good to see it spelled out. It's good to see like the September date, the May date, and stuff like that. Like I kind of need things to like just hang a framework on to know, just to trying to get a sense of how to go forward through it.
And you're not alone. Our frameworks include other people. So there's support there, and there's support from the universe where help is coming from places we might never have imagined. And I'm looking forward to that. That will be there. So thank you so much. And 3 weeks is a long time, but I do look forward to being with you then. And Juanita, so good to see you. Thanks so much for joining. And I hope this has been helpful. Have a good day, you guys.
Thank you.
Bye. I hope you feel more prepared to move easily through these next 3 weeks. I can't emphasize enough how busy it's going to be. So buckle up and rely on the people around you as well. And if you're feeling overwhelmed by all the stuff that you have to deal with in 2024, shoot me an email at panda@yourfullexpression.com to learn more about Compass, which will show you how to break down all of these monumental changes into bite-sized chunks so you can relax and enjoy life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.